Hello, Patrick.
Hello, Colin.
Well, now we are not live on a Thursday night, but we are Oxsports Unleashed, and we're going to have a crack at looking back at the weekend of 7th and 8th of February football in and around Oxfordshire. And we start this week, as usual, with the yellow and blue side of the city. Oxford United, they got a goalless draw, which sounds a bit of a bore, but actually ended up with just 10 men. A huge amount of credit from the Oxford United faithful who saw them get really stuck in against top table topping side Coventry City. So that was a bit of result for them, even though it was just simply a nil-nil draw and they're still in the relegation zone.
I heard the ref was a bit card happy though, or something.
Well, I
But
think you're probably right. Yeah, I mean, conditions were pretty bad, I think. So, talking about referees, the man in black is not your favourite either. You had a rare trip away to Oxford City against Leamington, a flooded pitch, but that wasn't really what got the attention, frankly, because as we'll hear later on from Andy Gate and Ross Jenkins, the referee did the dirty on you yet again, Patrick.
yeah, and before I mention that, I mean, I will pick up on your comment about the pitch first, and yeah, I mean, I have to say, fair play to Leamington, the ground staff and volunteers. I mean, they did a fantastic job to get that game on. I mean, we all know how much it rained last week, and some of the pictures up and down the country. I mean, Banbury underwater, and I mean, I was driving along the A34 just earlier, and all of the fields either side were basically lakes and oceans really at the moment. That's that much water around. So yeah, for them to get that game on was incredible really. And I mean it was never going to be a pitch that was conducive to playing good football, but it was it played a lot truer than I was expecting, and I think other people expected. But yeah, it, what can you say about referees? To be honest, the angle I was at initially, I didn't see it because we were the opposite end to the pitch where it was, so we couldn't see the handball. And um, yeah, when you watch the replay, he properly pulls his hand round and handles it. So um, yeah, frustrating, definitely frustrating. And um, yeah, I'll let Ross and Andy talk about it in a bit, but we've had some very dodgy decisions in recent weeks that have probably cost us some points. But
I think the thing is
yeah.
that it's one of these situations where it's really weird psychologically because I mean you can't control the referee or the decisions that are made on your behalf. The thing is though that when you're down the bottom, I mean it's all about your luck, isn't it? It just doesn't go your way, does it? The ball doesn't bounce. Okay, so and it's really weird because you also hit the woodwork too. By the way, we should just say, in case you didn't realize, it was a nil-nil draw in the end, so they did get a point on the road. But
Mhm.
it's fascinating the fact that, when you're down there, your luck doesn't go there. And you just think, well, it's never going to happen, is it? So on days like when you know you do everything,
Yeah.
I get the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm always one for luck evens itself out, and there's probably an element of it that you just notice it more when you're fighting for every point, and those kind of things probably do happen when you're mid-table, but because you're mid-table, you it doesn't really you don't really think about it too much because it's not really affecting your season, and um. I mean, at the same time, there are probably decisions that have gone City's way, and um, but there have I mean, as you say, South Shields last weekend was an absolute travesty that the ref gave that offside when it was clearly onside, which probably I mean there's no guarantees that South Shields wouldn't have gone straight up the other end and scored anyway, but potentially cost City a point. There was a another time earlier in the season where City were denied an equalising goal at Scarborough away, which may have ended in a point, but at the same time, there are games that have gone the other way. Like City got 3 points against AFC Fylde when Fylde had probably had the majority of the game, and you think if they would just had their shooting boots on a little bit more, that could have easily gone the other way. So I try and take a pragmatic view when for things like that, but it's always hard to not feel hard done by when decisions like that go your way. But I probably still prefer that than Premier League VAR.
Yeah, I think you're probably right there. So, and anyway, it was your rare foray away in your new car to watch an away game. Didn't work out too well.
I have to admit, I did get a lift. It wasn't in my new car. It's this coming Saturday. My new car's on the road,
All
city
right.
away.
Well, I think the thing is that at least if you didn't drive, presumably you had a few pints and a pie or something else as well. Do they treat you well up there at Leamington?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really nice place to go. They're a really friendly club, and I mean, it's good because it's 45 minutes up the road. It's very close, so um, they treat us well. It's never been a particularly happy hunting ground for City because before Saturday's game, we'd been there three times in the National League North, and we'd lost 4-0, 4-0, and 4-1. So not a particularly happy hunting ground, but did at least stop the goals going in the other end, which is a better thing than that. But yeah, it's always pretty nice going up there. In the middle of nowhere, though. I don't know if you've ever been.
I've not been up there, no. But anyway, so let's hear next from Andy Gate talking to a slightly disconsolate Ross Jenkins after that draw, which unfortunately still sees him in the relegation. So here's Andy Gate talking to Ross Jenkins.
Ross, 0-0 draw away at Leamington. It's another game where the bounce of the ball, the rub of the green, decisions just haven't gone our way, really. And what kind of petered out to be a pretty flat game in terms of quality-wise. But, we posted it on social media. A lot of people have seen the kind of handball, which was appealed for and wasn't given. We have to talk about it because it's another decision that's gone against us. And the old adage of it evens itself out over the season isn't quite evening itself out at the moment.
No, it's not. 3 games, 3 major decisions. South Shields goal that got disallowed. Radcliffe, Ashby, penalty pushing his back and a stand on his Achilles. And today a handball in the box. I don't know what else to say really. I'm super frustrated. It seems quite funny to officials at times. No responsibility, not taking accountability as officials. I'm getting a bit sick of it actually because today was a nothing game in terms of it was chances either end. It was a bit scrappy. There was not much pretty football being played, and it might have come down to a decision. Natural, unnatural position. I get told this a lot. When your hand's above the shoulder and the ball hits your arm, and it moves the ball off the path it's going. For me, it's a handball anywhere on the pitch. So. Yeah, I don't care what the officials say. I'm not even going to speak to them after the game because they just say, yeah, okay, we'll look at it, we'll assess things, we'll watch it back as we always do, and we'll get some feedback. But that ain't good enough. So, but that's that side of the game. Today, I thought the boys rolled their sleeves up and were brilliant. It was going to be a gritty game. The pitch is pretty poor. Both teams knew it was going to be a scrap, and I thought we had to compete and put our heads on things and win first and seconds. That's what we did, and it wasn't pretty. We knew that. We knew it weren't going to be pretty. The game was in doubt anyway. But actually, the pitch was actually okay. It wasn't puddling anywhere. But not much football being played, if I must say. So it might have come down to one decision. That was a really key decision that, they need to get it right. Simple.
Just on the pitch, you say a good point. I was told yesterday it was underwater. So first and foremost, well done to the volunteers from Leamington that got the game on.
Yeah.
But then like you said, it's a bobbly pitch. I mean, you'll be able to see behind you in the frame that the clumps of mud that have coming up, and it was never going to be a pretty game. But both teams battled. There wasn't very much quality in there. But when you look back at it in hindsight, we've hit the post twice and come very, very close from the chances that we made today, and it's just not kind of going our way at the moment.
No, we've hit the post twice. They've had a couple half chances, but there was a little bit of passage where we got the ball moving a little bit around the back, and Chaz found some good pockets into Tom and into Callum's feet. And we had a couple of good passages, but there wasn't much in the game. We knew that it was going to be a battle. Everyone stood up, everyone was counted. Roll your sleeves up and get on with it. But yeah, we need these decisions. So the boys will be disappointed, like they were last week with that decision, and like they were with the South Shields one. So. It's making sure that us as staff, we make sure we keep the boys' spirits alive and keep them in good spirits, keep them upbeat, show them the good stuff today. Wasn't much sort of a footballing side of stuff that we have to look at today. It was more about positioning, covering, depth, pressure on the ball, first contact, second balls, effort, work rate. So a lot of that we'll be looking at. But we've got a nice sort of week now to prepare again. The boys have picked up injuries along the way, and we're a little bit light on the bench today. So the young ones had to step in and be counted. but I thought the boys put in a massive shift at a difficult place on a difficult pitch.
Yeah, it was. You mentioned it was a battle. It was a real battle out there. And both teams really battled from the first second to the very last moment of the game. And right at the end, there was a lot of huff and puff from the home team, really. But when you look back at it, I don't think Johnny Maxted was troubled that much. But it is a clean sheet, and if you keep them, you can't lose games. Obviously, The next bit is scoring the goal down the other end.
Yeah, I mean, we had a couple of half chances. I thought first 15 minutes, we were putting balls in the box and crossing, and I think George went on a really good run. I thought Bernie put a good ball in, Potts put a couple of good balls in. We stopped doing it. Maybe we couldn't get the ball wide enough, quick enough, and it was sort of a fighting game. But yeah, we were a little bit light today with bodies. We had Darryl who went down with an injury, and Ewan Clark as well. DJ's made the bench after having a bit of a swollen knee, and Parks made the bench after having a bit of a dodgy belly. So we're a little bit light. So yeah, the boys had to stand up and be counted today, and I thought they really did that. And a couple of real standout performances in there in terms of grittiness and attitude and endeavour and tackling and fighting and scrapping. So that's what it's going to take. But a clean sheet is really important. It's overshadowed again by decisions. We work ever so hard as staff and players to get a result, and sometimes you need a bit of luck. And 3 games on the bounce now, we're not getting that luck. So maybe fourth game.
All right, so again, they do pick up on the point. They're very generously paying tribute yet again to the ground staff. And still in the relegation zone, we talked about the weather, and miraculously, there was only one game off locally, as far as I can pick out. Well, not locally, it was Banbury United. As if they haven't got enough problems with their own pitch being flooded. Their game away at Howes Owen, that was called off as well, I think, because of an unplayable pitch. But heroic efforts again by the ground staff down at Luke Meadow. A 1 p.m. kickoff. Not entirely sure why it was a 1 p.m. kickoff, but that was against Shaftesbury, and Jamie Heapy's side came out 3-0 winners. So really good 3 points there for Jamie Heapy's side, Patrick.
Yeah, I did see why it was 1 o'clock a few weeks ago. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think there was an event going on down at the ground later in the afternoon, so I think that was why it was an early kickoff. But yeah, I mean, Didcot are in fine form, especially at home at the moment. They've won their 4th successive game at home. It was 2-0 in the first half. Cam Mills scored twice. The first of those came from the spot before he made it 2-0 midway through the first half. Later on in the second half, Paul John scored the 3rd goal. So that's secured a convincing win for them there. So we're obviously looking at the tables. They are now to 12th there. I mean, they are pretty much safe in mid-table now. They're probably too late for a charge onto the playoffs, because the team in the playoffs is about 20 points ahead of them. But equally, they are 12 points higher than the relegation zone. So yeah, really good season for Jamie Heapy's men after a tough start. So yes, and I think we can hear from Jamie Heapy. He spoke to Daz King as always after a home win. Jamie Heapy, unsurprisingly, an extremely happy man with his side putting in a really good performance. So here is Jamie Heapy.
Brilliant 3 points today, mate.
Yeah, really good. I thought we deserved it. I thought, especially first half, we played some really good stuff. Scored some good goals. Could have probably had a couple more. But we started the game right. You know what I mean? We started the game front foot, took it to them. We're brave. Just really. I said about the first half, but we were really good first half. 2-0. They had, I think, the 9 had a couple of chances. Well, hit the post and he'll. They're always a threat. He's a good player, Holmes.
Yeah, he's scored a lot of goals, hasn't he?
He's been around a bit. He knows what he's doing. He's experienced. They got some good players. Jim's got some good players there. They were a good side, and we were just good today. Whether it's a condition, I don't know. It's just I don't think they can handle our athleticism. We were fit. We were outrunning them first half. We were getting second balls. We were winning all the firsts. Tiger and Cam were lively. JP was brilliant up front.
I mean, I think that's it. I think you're sometimes forced into a situation where you've got to try something else. And JP today, I mean, he kept going to the last minute, didn't
We've looked at it before, because he plays quite high as a midfielder anyway. He likes to get forward, and we've looked at it in various situations. At Hartbury last week, we pushed him up there along with OJ, and didn't quite work. But today, he's just a handful, because he's so fit, and he just runs, and he's got a threat in behind. And he deserved his goal.
Yeah, he took it well and all, didn't he?
Really good finish. Panic. Yeah, really good finish. And then, clean sheet again. Lee's
100 clean sheet. Yeah.
So, no, really good team performance. We played some good stuff at times as well. So I'm really pleased for him. Let's put us what?
Yeah,
12?
that's it. Mid-table now. Isn't
Yeah.
it? So,
I know teams got games in hand. We got the points, so let them play on a midweek and whatever. We're trained and be ready. Big game Saturday, Bushnell.
Yeah.
So we go again, but.
You've mentioned it before, mate. Pitch, considering the weather we've had.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Held up brilliantly, didn't it?
It was actually quite firm underneath,
Yeah.
but Happy and the boys have done a great job. And played well. I know you've got a few little bits, but it's nothing major, is it? So no, it's in great nick, and all his hard work's paying off, and we're playing some good stuff on it as well.
Yeah.
So no, it's a good day, really good day. Pleased for the boys because they put a level shift in again, and we looked at proper teams today.
Yeah, some good football. Really
Yeah,
good football.
it was. Cam got man of the match to me, voted.
Yeah.
I think he's been probably since the turn of the year.
Yeah.
He's been consistent anyway, but his game for a 32-year-old is gone another
You know
level.
what you're getting with.
Yeah, I know. He's no issues. He's great in the dressing room. He's a good kid, good character. You know what I mean? And he plays properly. He trains like that as well.
Yeah.
He trains like that, and his levels are there. Him and Adam lead by example. Lee, Luke, do you know what I mean? We've got some good people in there, senior boys. Jim come back in and done well, but he's
cramped up a bit.
He's had too many holidays. But you know what I mean? It's then Lockie comes in and Cam's a handful, and Tiger's on it, and it's just really everything worked today. They had a couple of chances, but thoroughly deserved our win.
Yeah. Okay, mate, brilliant.
All right, mate.
We'll, hopefully Bashley next Saturday. We'll see what weather does this
let's
week.
see what the weather's like this week, and we'll be ready. We look forward to it, and be a good game.
Okay, mate. Enjoy the rest of
Cheers,
Saturday.
mate.
Early
Cheers,
finish.
mate. Yeah, early finish. Cheers.
So Jamie Heapy there chatting to Daz King after the game. Of course, Daz King came into the studios of Oxsports Unleashed a couple of weeks back and did a very good interview about how he got not roped in. I think that's the right phrase, really, but how he became so much associated with Didcot Town. He does everything, I think, including making the tea down there. Anyway, I think top billing this week should go to Thame United, who won big time away at London Lions, Patrick.
Yes, and funny enough, my first note on this game is obviously talking about somehow all but one Oxfordshire game didn't get postponed. And the first note of this is that it was only one of two games that survived the weather in Southern League Central. So good for them to get that game on at London Lions. And as you say, scored 5 there, and that follows on. They scored 6 away a couple of weeks ago. So you got their shooting boots on away from home. They were 2-0 up at half time. Harry Alexander and Mark Riddick were on target for them then. Louis Walsh added a third, but London Lions got one back to make it 3-1. But Harry Alexander and Charlie Stowe, who's scored a few goals of late, got a couple more for them to make it 5-1. So, really thumping win for them there. Obviously, they've got a really realistic playoff charge going at the moment. Before the game, they were about 4 points adrift of the playoffs with a few games in hand, and they're now just 2 points adrift of the playoffs with a couple of games in hand on Biggleswade FC, who are the team above them there. So, really big win for them, and really good for their fight for the playoffs coming up.
And the only other team that was doing similar sort of wins, I think, was Wantage Town. I went to see them 2 or 3 weeks back, and since then their goals have dried up. So I don't think I'll go and see Thame, if in case I just jinx them, I think, in this season so far. But yes, well done.
Yeah, I've heard you on the banned list at the moment, Colin.
Yeah,
definitely.
They're
taking no risks, I don't think. Yeah.
I apologise to the chair and Prosciutto, but I will go out there again. I think it's a lovely, lovely club there at Wantage, and it's a club we said last week is very much on the up. But Ben Williams' side there, Thame United, of course, when he first came in, to remind people that there was a mass exodus. So he had no squad when he first, I think, 3 seasons ago, and he had to delay his pre-season to actually get players in, I think, and then start that, and then a wobbly start. Because Jefferson Louis came back to his original club. I think he started out life in his long and lustrous career at Thame United. He was very much instrumental, I think, in trying to weld that team together. And Ben Williams has done a really good job. Get good players in there, get a good team spirit going. From those starts, I think he's done extremely well. So well done to.
It's worth mentioning as well that they were bottom of the league on 0 points after 4 or 5 games this season as well. So that recovery again to be just a couple of points off the playoffs with a couple of months ago. Yeah, it's really impressive stuff from them.
Yeah, it is. So well done to them. So and I hope if I do turn up and to see them play, I don't do what I call commentators curse on them. Right. So around the other lower league, steps 5 and 6, not such good news for our teams, though, Patrick.
Yeah, and again, my first note for the combined counties: there's only 4 games survived in the combined counties north. All of which, except one, included an Oxfordshire side. So we got 3 of our 5 teams in action. Sadly, all lost by a single goal, though. Abingdon United fell to a 3-2 defeat. Anna Clatodiambo and Finn Beckett with the goals there, but Abingdon could not get anything from that game. Kidlington also on the wrong side of the result. Roger James scored for them, but couldn't help them get anything from title challengers Broadfield United. Obviously, that title challenge we've kind of been keeping an eye on as it's involving a couple of our sides, but sadly, Kidlington couldn't do either of any of their Oxfordshire rivals a helping hand there. North Lee were in action for the first time in a while. They went to Edgware and Kingsbury. They were also defeated 3-2 there. So some close games for our teams there, but sadly, none of them got any points out of that. Again, we've been saying this for weeks. It's really hard to read into the table at the moment in the combined counties Premier North. Wallingford in 4th, Ardley 6th, Kidlington 7th, Milton 10th, Abingdon 14th, and Northley 18th. But all these teams have got so many different games and hands on various teams. It's really hard to tell what teams' true positions are at the moment. So, yeah, a lot of moving to do in the next couple of months, but there's going to be a lot of teams playing Tuesday night games, I think. So,
yeah, it's going to be quite late towards the end of the season. So for them. So meanwhile, Wantage Town, we could be keeping an eye on them. They got a draw 2-2 there as well. So another point on the board for them. But if you look at that table for Wantage Town, the top side, FC Stratford, I think, sort of got a game in hand. They got a few more points in the bag now. So I think they slipped down to 3rd, I think, now, Wantage Town. So it's looking tight at the top. It's very, very tight. And you lose a couple of games in that league, and then you win a couple of games, and you sort of it changes things completely. But hopefully, Wantage Town can refine their form, start to bang in goals like Thame United, and get back into a playoff challenging position. Okay, right. Was there much women's action on Sunday, Patrick?
Yeah, just the 2 Oxford teams in action. Abingdon United's game was called off for the weather. They were supposed to be down in Plymouth. So I hope they didn't get on the way down there before it got called off. I hope it got called off in time, because otherwise that's a long day for not much if you got all the way down to Plymouth. Oxford United, they were defeated by the odd goal in 7. Watford was where they travelled to on Sunday, and Watford won 4-3 there. Nicola Gibson scored in the first half for United. Emma Thompson scoring a brace in the second half, but wasn't enough to get anything from the game there for them. So, always frustrating one, isn't it, when you score 3 and get nothing from the game? It's one of those very frustrating scorelines, 4-3. Oxford City was sadly beaten again at home to Woodley United. Yasmin Edwards levelled for the Hoops just after the break, but Woodley scored late to take all 3 points there. So a lot of defeats by single goals this weekend, Colin, unfortunately for our teams across all divisions.
Yeah, indeed. So we know that both Oxford United and Oxford City are still in the relegation zone in their respective leagues. But after the action last weekend, Patrick, how do the tables look for our local sides?
Well, we kind of already gone through them as we were going on. But Oxford City, they've still in the relegation zone. A tough one, really, because City were needed a win really at Boston Place Leamington, but only got a point. The teams above them didn't really go City's way, and Southport are now the team directly above them, and they're 3 points clear. So it's looking tough for Ross Jenkins' men every day, and it'd be another big game coming up on Saturday that we'll mention in a moment. Banbury United, obviously, their game was off. They're still 10th in that division, still in a good, healthy position for a playoff push there. Thame United, as I say, one place outside the playoffs. Going well for them. Didcot 12th. Mid-table there. obviously went through the combined counties tables, and obviously we still got Wallingford and Ardley who are in for a title push, and maybe Kidlington as well. Kidlington probably can't be ruled out at this stage. Easington Sports, their game was off as well. They're still sitting a few points clear of the relegation zone, so sitting pretty for them there. Wantage third, Casterton 13th, and then sadly Canfield and Thame United reserves are still in the bottom three. So yeah, that's what the table's looking like. Yeah.
Okay, so that's interesting to see, but a lot of football still to play. So if the weather holds out, what have local football fans got to look forward to this coming weekend? Patrick Lock, in your normal fixture focus, sir.
Yes, and Oxfordshire United, they are in FA Cup action. Premier League side Sunderland coming to them on Sunday, 2 o'clock kickoff. A game that United played last year, didn't they? Because obviously Sunderland got promoted from the Championship last year. Very, very different side to the one that came to the Kassam last year, though, isn't it? So I think it'll be a tough test for United, won't it? Because Sunderland are flying in the Premier League, really, considering what it may have happened.
I think they are. And again, it was a very bruising affair Saturday for Oxford United. So they finished their game against top side Coventry City with 10 men. Will Lancashire, the striker on loan from Tottenham Hotspur, got his marching orders. They got another difficult game on Tuesday night as well. So there'll be a few walking wounded there against Norwich City. And then because of that, again, FA Cup Sunday, 2 o'clock kickoff there. I mean, it's a great affair. It'll be a packed crowd up there, I think so. And again, I suppose like sometimes with Oxford City, when you're in the National League, you didn't expect to win. You just want your team to put in a good performance. So hopefully it'll be a good performance, and it'll give some of the younger players coming in a chance to just test their mettle. I mean, there's a few players that are around. Okay, so and players like Brannigan and Sam Long, who are Oxford through and through. I think. I suppose you just want to be out on the pitch against Premier League opposition. I think so. I'm looking forward to it. I should be there at the Kassam Stadium. Meanwhile, you're on the road again, aren't you, for the second time in week back-to-back away games in your little castle?
We are indeed, but I will just mention quickly that me and you have watched a lot of enough football to know that the FA Cup does funny things, doesn't it? So,
it would be great if we get an FA Cup run, but then get relegated as Oxford United. So, but so that it could go that way.
Well, I've seen Oxford City beat Colchester United after going 3 months without a win in the league. So, yeah, that's how things happen, isn't it? But yes, you're right. City are on the road again. It's another enormous game, and I say it's another must-win game for Ross Jenkins' men, and it just feels like every game is at the moment with where City are in the league. They head up to Worksop Town, another team who are kind of in and around that relegation battle. So if City could get 3 points there, that could be huge come the end of the season. So that's a 3 o'clock kickoff up there, and my little red car will be going up there. Probably the first longest away game it's done this year. So we hoping to get City's first away win of the season there. Banbury United, they're at home, but it's a lot more floodwater there I saw on Saturday with all the rain that's there. So fingers crossed the floodwaters recede there, and if so, Bury Town are the visitors there. That's a 3 o'clock kickoff in the Southern League Premier Central. Thame United, they host Flagwell Heath in the Division 1 Central. And Didcot Town, they travel to Bashley in Division 1 South. On Sunday, alongside Oxford United's FA Cup game, no game for Oxford United, but there's a couple of County Cup games for our other two teams. Abingdon United host Ascot United in the Berks and Bucks Senior Cup. Probably should boo that a little bit. That's a rival county, isn't it, to where we cover? But thankfully, the Oxfordshire Senior Cup is covered. Oxford City are in that. They host Easington Sports Ladies. That's 11 a.m. kickoff at Court Place Farm. So, yeah, that's what's coming up, hopefully, this weekend, if the rains can stay away. And I think there is a little bit less rain this forecast this week. So, fingers crossed.
All right. Well, thank you much indeed, Patrick. That's what happened over the 7th and 8th of February last weekend, and as well a little tip as to what's coming up in and around Oxford over this coming weekend. For the time being, though, for myself, Patrick Dock and Lyon Ryde, thanks so much for watching, and Bye for now.